Hi guys, it's Emily from Novel Novels and welcome to today's video. This is the Tudor Queen's book tag. This is an original tag and it was created by myself, Gemma from Gemma Books and Danny from Danny's Book World. Basically, I wanted to create an original tag. I thought, seeing as we're doing the Tudor books, I would ask my co-creators, co-hosts, Danny and Jem, and they agreed to join me. So together we have created a tag video about the Tudor Queens. So there are 6 prompts for each, 1 prompt for per queen, and a bonus prompt if you can do it about Henry VIII. So I will read you the prompts, and as I'm doing it I will give my answers to it. Then I've got quite a few people I'm tagging down below. My co-creators will be tagging different people so we can spread this tag nice and wide. But seeing as I'm recording first, I got to tag the people first. So no. Jem's got to find some different people to tag. Hee. I am cheeky, aren't I? And I hope you enjoy this tag video. So prompt number 1 is for Katherine of Aragon. By the way, you can see this is the book that I'm reading this month. A book that was your first true love. So, the first book that you remember absolutely loving from the bottom of your heart, or a book, one of the earliest books you can remember loving from the top of your heart, because Katherine of Aragon was King Henry's first true love, the woman that he really loved. And I, in my honest opinion, I think she was the only one he really loved because it was her first love. So, I've gone for Heidi, because this is a childhood classic that whenever I think of a book that I loved as a child, I will always go back to Heidi. I remember I think it was a really old film put up about it, but Heidi was a character I loved and one of my first true loves, and just loved it. So that's for me, that's my answer, Heidi. Then the evil queen, the queen that I think is probably the worst but the best because she's the worst, Anne Boleyn, who was the king's obsession. A book with a manipulative character. So it can be manipulative in any which way you want, but a book with a manipulative character. Anne Boleyn was very manipulative. She got him right where she wanted him. She stole him off of her sister Mary Boleyn. It was very manipulative in every situation. So she was the one, in my opinion, who deserved what happened to her. So I am going to go with Lyra's Northern Lights, because Lyra's birth mother in this was very, very manipulative. I cannot remember her name because I've not read this series in absolutely ages, but I think so many people could know about her. She was evil personified. She manipulated Lyra at the start. Mrs. Coulter, found her name very quickly. She manipulated so many people throughout the whole series, and I think she's very manipulative, very evil, very wicked. The next one, Jane Seymour, a book that delivered what you wanted. Jane Seymour was the haunted queen. She was the queen that gave the king what he wanted, because she gave him, a son, Edward. But she also had the tragic ending and she died shortly after Edward's birth. I genuinely believe that Henry VIII did love Jane Seymour. She sort of stole him kind of in her own way off of Anne Boleyn, but it was her brothers that were the sort of naughty ones in that. But I loved this book. I can't wait to revisit it. I loved learning more about Jane, because Jane was known as the one that delivered because she was the only one that could provide him a son that lived. But she also had the tragic ending in the fact she died very quickly. So there's not as much known about her. So a book that delivered what we wanted, to me was a book that I read at the start of the year, Us Three by Ruth Jones, because it was a book about friendships, and to me it delivered friendship on the highest level, about 3 close friends and their journey together, and about the fact that friendship isn't always rocky. It has rocky patches. Friendships do they can't always be a ray of sunshine all the time, but I really loved this book and it really delivered at the time, a book that I really needed, and a book about friendship and the real ones. To me, I love this book. Anne of Cleves, a book that wasn't what you expected. Anne, the Queen of Secrets. Well, Anne of Cleves was his fourth wife. It was a very rushed marriage. Henry VIII was sent a picture of Anne, but it wasn't a true picture. It showed a beauty in a different kind. Now, obviously, we know that beauty lies beyond the surface. But Anne was not what Henry VIII expected. Don't get me wrong. They formed a friendship, which was lovely, and they did become friends, and he thought of her as a sister in the end, and he treated her very nicely. It was just a very quick divorce. But when he saw her, she was not at all what he expected her to be. And the marriage was nothing that either of them expected. I genuinely don't believe he consummated the marriage. Because obviously by then he was quite a bigger guy. And things didn't work the way he wanted. He wasn't attracted to her at all. So, but then she had some secrets, so I like that book. A book to me that wasn't what I expected. And I think this is still going down as a book that is going on with my favourites for the year so far. And that's Shuggy Bane. I'd heard amazing things about it. Sorry about the dogs. I'd heard that it was great. I'd heard that it was fantastic. But I didn't expect to love it as much as I did. There is a lot of trauma and a lot of triggers in this. But there is some sort of humour in it. And I found myself absolutely loving Shuggy. I loved Agnes, even though I didn't want to love Agnes. I just thought it was an amazing, amazing book, and it was nowhere near. I did not expect to love it as much as I did. I didn't expect that it would be one of my absolute all-time favourites. And I think, to me, Agnes Bane, as a mum, like I didn't want to love her because she treated Shuggy really badly in a lot of ways. But I loved it, and I loved Shuggy's character. He was one of my favourite characters ever now, and I just loved this book way more than I expected it to be. The next one, prompt number 5, a book that irritated you, because she was a cheeky madam. She was another manipulator. She was the tainted queen, because she really sort of got to him. She got under his skin, and she shouldn't have. She was very like flirty and young and very annoying because of the fact she's young. She kind of did bring on her own death. But I love this book because at 19, Katherine Howard is quick to fall in love and trust. And she did kind of get manipulated by other people. But she was very cheeky and very annoying and the naughty queen. And a book that irritated you, I'm going to have to go with the book that I hated the most in all the world. The Woman Who Went to Bed for a Year. It's the book that annoyed me the most that I've ever read. It's my worst book I've ever read. It will always be the worst book I've ever read. So it had to be the answer to that prompt. Prompt number 6, Katherine Parr, a book published after the author's death. Because Katherine Parr outlived Henry VIII. This is my proof edition. I still love this. And this is, what did she say about Henry VIII? I always like the bit, the 6th queen, because she was the 6th and last queen, and she outlived him. So she lived way beyond her years, way beyond his life. So I thought she would be, the good one is a book that was published after Tudor. So the book I'm going to go for this, and this is one of my another one of my favourite books ever, and this is Wives and Daughters by Elizabeth Gaskell. This got published after Elizabeth's death, and it had to be finished by her children, and I loved it. It's one of my favourite Elizabeth Gaskell books. It's one of my favourite books ever and my favourite classics. I loved this book. I can't quite describe how much I loved it. And this is about Molly Gibson and her stepmother and her father and her stepsister and the people in this, and it was really about family, and it's a book that I absolutely loved. And I think it would, obviously the ending was put together by other people, but it was the ending that she'd written notes about. So she didn't quite finish it, but she did a very good job on it, and I think it was an amazing book, and it's one of my books that I would recommend to everybody because it's really a book about family. And I love the father-daughter relationship more than I love the wives and daughters. I just thought it was a brilliant book. And then the bonus prompt, Henry, a chunky book that you hated. Now, I don't really hate books very often, but I'm going to go with the Brothers Karamazov because I didn't like it very much. I wanted to like it. I read it with Charlie from Charles Heathcote, and I wanted to love it, but I didn't as much as I wanted. So yeah, I'm going to go with that. Now for tagging people, I tag Alice from Alice's Giant Bookshelf. Don't know how you're joining the Tudor along, so I think you'll be quite fun at doing this, and you're also one of my best friends. If you aren't subscribed to Alice, check her out. She's bloody lovely and I love her. Jack from Spread Book Joy. She spreads book joy. She's amazing. I love her too. Ange from Angie's Book Chatter, another one of my BookTube best friends, and I love her dearly. She's fantastic. I think she doesn't do tags very often, but got to tag you in it. Berna from Burnish Bookers Adventures, because she loves the Tudors. She loves historical fiction. I think she'll be amazing at this. And she also just has way more subscribers. Now I'm going to tag a bigger booktuber, one that's very big on BookTube, and that's Marissa from Blatantly Bookish. Again, she doesn't do tags very often, but she's joining in with the Walpole along. I know she knows about the Tudors and she wants to know more about them. She's also reading Katherine of Aragon at the moment, so I think you'll be quite good at this. My other fellow Walpole along host is Tori from Hufflepuff Discovery. She knows loads about the Tudors and she will be amazing at this, and I love tagging her in this. I think it'll be brilliant. Debra from Booking with Debra, a newer channel to me, but I believe she loves historical fiction. I think she might be doing the Tudor, I can't remember, but I think she would be really good at this. Julie from Hungry Bookworm, because I know she doesn't do tags very much, but she's just returning to us after a break, and she was the person who got me into the Tudors again, so I love you, Julie. I think you would do great at this. And then lastly, a fellow Tudor lover, a fellow historical fiction lover, and that's Nikki at Red Dot Reads. So check out all their channels. I look forward to doing it. If I haven't tagged you and you don't get tagged by all these many people who are going to tag people's, let me know. Then say you've been tagged by me, let me know, tag me in it. Put me in the comments in the mentions thing that you can all do now. It's all a lot easier to do that now. And yeah, I look forward to seeing what people think of this tag. I look forward to seeing what people do on it. If you do like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, not subscribed yet, ring on my ding-a-ling. And I hope you all enjoy this tag. Bye bye.